Am I the asshole for making a fake stock portfolio for my wife?
Is this you? Did you write this?
Who's my wife? I'm not married.
Yeah, good point.
My wife has always been terrible with finances. From the moment I met her, before we were married, she was swimming in debt, yet only made the minimum payment every time, while at the same time buying excessive products and items that she couldn't afford. She's wonderful in so many other ways, but as far as finances go, she is a lost cause. While we were dating, I tried to teach her some financial literacy. It didn't really stick, and once we were married, I took over our combined finances. Of course, I still keep her informed about everything that I do, but she tends to let me do most of it. Shortly after the market started picking up again following the COVID recession, I started picking up numerous stocks that were cheap, and I told her about it. When she then asked me if she could have half of our total investment funds to invest on her own. I asked her why, and she wanted to prove to her friends that she could be responsible with money, since apparently they were teasing her about it last time they met. I told her it wasn't a good idea, and I could certainly help her out by setting up an account with a small amount or one of the numerous simulations out there so she could learn under my guidance instead of just jumping right into our money and potentially losing it all. She refused, and we had a big argument about it. She was still adamant, and I was getting annoyed, so I set her up a simulation and told her it was a real account. She hadn't even bothered to research real brokers and thought it was the real deal and started investing. Fast forward to now, and her account has done terribly over the last few months. She has lost a large portion of the money in the account, which she thinks is real. She put the money into random penny stocks and other garbage after reading half-baked articles online, probably hoping to find the next Apple. Of course, many of them did terribly, depleting her account. She even invested in GameStop, but only after it showed up on the news, and when it fell, she panicked and sold her shares. She came to me the other day sobbing and said sorry, upon which I asked her if she now realized why I didn't want her to just jump in without any knowledge. I then told her that she didn't have to worry because it was a simulation, and she got angry at me for lying to her instead of being happy that her retirement isn't flushed down the drain, and dragged us into a big argument. I failed to see how I am in the wrong because I offered multiple times to help her and ease her into our finances instead of just dropping her straight in and letting her do what she did to the simulation to our actual account. Am I the asshole?
Wow.
Ooh, this is a lot.
There's so many layers to this one.
I guess the tough thing is the whole premises of it is you are dating someone who is basically a child when it comes to money, right? So as much as this would seem unreasonable to me in any sort of normal relationship, or like you and I,
In the average relationship.
if I had done this to you or you'd done this to me, that's like a terrible thing, you know? It's our joint finances.
To lie to someone, yeah.
To lie to them about
and
how they're managing their money.
Mostly just acting like you're giving them, what is half their money, and you're not, because you're controlling them. Like, that's a...
Yeah, that would be an awful thing. But I have to empathize with the guy a little, that he knows she has no idea what she's doing. So I guess I would hope your partner who doesn't know what they're doing would recognize that and would agree that it's not the best idea to just start, investing half of your collective retirement fund without any idea what they are doing.
I guess I'm just so risk averse, but thinking of her actions and how she just did them makes me so queasy. Like, I can't even imagine a world where I truly and I have insight into the fact that I don't really know what I'm doing, and I'm just throwing our savings into it, not knowing the outcome. Like, I would be way too scared. I don't even gamble on slot machines with $5. Like, hell no. I can't do it.
You know what I don't think we should ignore, though? Like, what if by some random chance her simulated account was like way up and did amazing, and all of a sudden she thought she had made them, $1 million.
Then she should get mad at him. Because in this case, hey, I can understand why you're mad that your partner lied. Yes. Mm-hmm. But if we just look at this objectively for a second and remove the emotional lying, if I were her, I would be happy and relieved. Thank God I didn't just lose our savings and then get mad at him later for, the lying. But at the end of the day, no one lost any money. Right?
Yeah, there must be some relief mixed in with the being upset thing. But it just sounds like not a healthy relationship where he's basically having to treat her like a kid when it comes to their finances, right? Like tricking them into a fake.
Why does it hey, it's okay if you don't know how to invest or whatever. Not everyone knows. Honestly, I'm not that good at it, which is a huge part of why I leaned on Ben when we first started having money, and I wanted to know how to invest it. And then I eventually got a financial advisor to help because I know that I am not an expert and I did not have time to become one. So what is important here is maybe acknowledging or having some insight into like what you are capable of and what you are not, and it's okay to ask for help. So maybe she didn't want to ask her partner for help, who appears to have more knowledge in this.
Yeah, and I understand the sensitivity too about more traditionally women not wanting to feel reliant on the man in the relationship to be the one who handles the money, right?
But they can both have access and insight into the accounts and what's going on. But if he has the knowledge and what stocks to pick, I don't see what the issue is, like why she feels like.
Yeah, but I think he's like her friends are teasing her. Maybe it's her insecurity about that played into why she wanted to do it, but it's still an incredibly irresponsible
Yeah.
thing to do, right? I do know someone in real life where like the guy, I'll be vague. The guy does the finances and his wife doesn't have control of it, but she'll like say what she would have done with the money, and then she'll remind him that if he had done that, it would have done really well. So she gets to complain about the fact that, when she guessed right, she gets to complain about the fact that he didn't do that, but she doesn't accept any of the risk of just managing it herself.
Because if she did it wrong, then the fault would fall on her.
Yes,
You can't have
exactly.
Oh, interesting. So yeah, maybe there's another element of the relationship and control there that we're also not seeing her side.
This is true. Yeah, maybe he treats her like a child.
And
These simulations are
right.
super useful, though, by the way, in terms of like if you're trying to get into investing, something didn't come up when Matt and I were talking about this. You can create a fake account to just sort of play around with like what you could do. And it's a really good like sort of first dipping your toe in the water of actually trying to figure out what makes sense.
How do you make a fake account? How do you make a fake bank account? I understand it's not a bank account, but like, is it through the bank under which you are investing in like TFSAs?
So I'm not sure if I'm sure there are third-party services that do that too, but the main bank I used when I was a young man also had a tool that lets you do it on a simulated basis.
So maybe it's more widely available tool because that's really practical. That's an awesome tool.
It makes a lot of sense, but then if you do well, you're also like, wow, I wish I'd done this
I
with
wish
real
this were-
money.
But you know what? You got to practice before before you go on the competition, before you go to the Olympics, you got to practice.
Yeah, if it makes sense for you to be doing this at all.
Right.